Hi guys, welcome back to another video. I'm Gids. Thank you so much for joining me in today's video. So for today's video, I thought I would talk about fragrances I am considering decluttering from my collection. Some of them I'm on the fence about, and I'll talk you through my reasons as to why. I have 5 fragrances here, and I thought I would just talk you through why I am thinking of decluttering them. If you love these fragrances, please continue to enjoy them. I'm not saying that they're bad, they're just fragrances that I am not currently pulling for and have not really worn that much. So let's get into the first one, because I feel like the first one is a very, very popular one, and I might upset a few people, but it's Soir from Maison Kurkdjian. Now, I know how loved this is within the fragrance community. I know how much people love this one, and trust me, at a point I was obsessed with this fragrance. I loved everything about it. I remember the day that I went to sample this and I sprayed it on me, I sprayed it on the card, and I remember just going out and I felt like, wow, this fragrance makes me feel so expensive, so luxurious, so classy, so handsome. It just made me feel everything that I want a fragrance to make me feel. This is a amber forward fragrance. It's quite warm and resinous. It has some benzoin in the fragrance, has some labdanum, I believe it has some orange, some tonka. So it's a warm, ambery, balsamic type of fragrance with a little bit of a spiciness in the fragrance as well, just like a hint of spice. As it dries down, it does get a little bit powdery as well, I would say, on the skin. Okay, so why am I gonna let this one go? Well, as you can see, it has barely been worn. There is not even a dent in this, and that's one of the ways I can tell if I'm in love with a fragrance is how much of it have I actually used, you know? And I've had this over a year and barely been worn. I think for me, what it is with this fragrance, if I'm really honest, I probably have fragrances that I enjoy more. And when I first sampled it, I just was head over heels in love with this fragrance. I remember that, it was some years back. And I had different fragrances on my wish list, and I was working through my wish list. So this one fell down the bottom of the list. And when I finally purchased it at a price that I thought was a good price, when it was all on offer, etc., I was excited. But when it arrived and I sprayed it on me and, you know, tried it again, it didn't excite me the way I thought it would. And I thought, oh, I'll just keep wearing it and it will come back. And it never did. I find this, I might offend people, I find it a little bit boring, if I'm honest. I find Grand Soir a little bit boring. For me, it's a little bit of a flat fragrance for me. And I have better fragrances in my rotation. And I think sometimes that's what it boils down to. It might be a loved fragrance by so many people, but if you personally, if it doesn't excite you, it just doesn't excite you. And it's all subjective when it comes to fragrance and taste and preference. So I'm thinking of letting this one go. I'm not really one to sell fragrances. I've never sold a fragrance. So I don't know. I'll consider what options I have. If you're interested in this and you live in the UK, message me, maybe we could work something out. I don't know. I also still have the box as well for this, so I could send it in the box as well. And yeah, it's in excellent condition and it's hardly been used. Grand Soir from Maison Kurkdjian. Tobacco Vanille by Tom Ford. Now, this is another one which I would say this is a classic Tom Ford perfumery. If you are a fan of the private blends, this was basically in the first classic kind of introduction to the range. This, I remember Noir de Noir, I remember Oud Wood, Cafe Roses, was it Belle de Jour? There were certain fragrances from Tom Ford private blends which were just classic, and I still think when he came out with his line, it was quite revolutionary at the time. Tom Ford was like breaking molds, and I will always respect the house of Tom Ford for their fragrances. I feel they've sort of lost their way. I know they've been taken over, I think by, is it Estee Lauder or L'Oreal? I think it's Estee Lauder have taken over Tom Ford. Anyway, I feel like now they're just pumping out fragrances and they're so expensive as well. Anyway, why am I thinking of decluttering Tobacco Vanille? Well, again, it's about up to here currently. I've had this fragrance maybe 3 to 4 years. I don't reach for it. It doesn't excite me. It doesn't particularly, it's not a fragrance that does anything for me. I like the idea of tobacco and vanilla being the predominant sort of notes in a fragrance and the main character of the fragrance. I think it's a really interesting way to play with vanilla, and that's why I really do respect the house of Tom Ford. But for me, it's just a bit meh. You know, there was a time when I loved this fragrance, but I just am over it. You know, it's tobacco, it's vanilla, it's got some dried fruits. I'm sure it's got other notes in it. I can't remember everything it's got in the fragrance, but I have better fragrances in my collection that I actually reach for and I'm excited to wear. And I'm just not reaching for it. So why keep it in my collection? I might just give it one more go. Maybe I might fall in love with them again. That does happen sometimes, but I pretty much have thought about letting this one go for some time, and I think I am now ready. I mean, it's literally up to there in terms of how much is in it. I can see it. It's an opaque bottle, but I can see in the light, it's just about up to there currently, which it's not good, is it? But yeah, Tobacco Vanille from Tom Ford. Dior Homme Parfum from the house of Dior. This is the version that came out in 2014 before the re-release that they brought out last year in 2025. And if you know, this fragrance has now been discontinued. This has notes of iris, rose, leather, violet, sandalwood, and leather and oud. It's a very complex, interesting, unique fragrance, especially for a designer house to come out with something like this. And I don't think Dior really pushed this one. I think they will probably say this wasn't appealing to the mass audience that they would have liked. I think Dior are now going in a direction of wanting to appeal to a younger, broader audience, which is why, if you notice, they tend to discontinue a lot of fragrances. And I think they're more focused now on bringing out mass appealing fragrances, even within their private collection. The classic Dior that many of us knew and fell in love with, especially the private collection, when you think of Eau d'Isfahan, Ambre Nuit, Leather Oud, Patchouli Imperial, like these bold, character-filled fragrances. I feel like Dior have lost their way. Anyway, back to this one. Sorry, going off on a tangent. I feel like I'm not reaching for this one, and I don't know why. Look at the amount that I've used. I've barely used it. I've had it for a long time. I can say it's a beautiful fragrance for sure, but maybe it's just one I don't love enough. And should I just keep it in my collection just because it's discontinued? I can't find it I won't be able to find it again. Will I be filled with regret? Possibly. Maybe this is one that I need to sit with a bit longer, but I am thinking of letting this one go. I know it sells for extremely high premiums on places like eBay. I don't know. I probably am gonna sit with this one for a bit longer. I mean, wow. When I smell it like that, I'm like, Gids, are you sure you wanna let this one go? Because there are people that will snap this up in a heartbeat. To be continued. Dior Sauvage Elixir. This actually isn't bad when I smell it like this, but I'll be honest, I feel there's a little bit more of a dent in this one. We're about up to sort of there. I think you guys can see. I have enjoyed this one, and I just think I'm ready to move on from this sort of scent profile. It's not a bad fragrance. I'm just over it. It opens up, in my opinion, yeah, a little bit sharp. It's spicy, it's very resinous, very aromatic. It's got more spices like cardamom and things like that, which is nice. And then it's more sweeter as it dries down. You've got licorice-ness and other warmer notes. It's not bad. I'm over it. I'm over it. I've sort of moved on, and I just don't pull for this fragrance like I used to. I'm not one of these people that will bash Sauvage. You know, people bash this fragrance. I just feel, for me personally, I've moved on from the scent profile. It doesn't excite me. I'm not reaching for it. It's time to let it go. The final fragrance is from Acqua de Parma, and this one is called Leather. Now, as you can see, again, barely a dent in this fragrance. Very, very tiny little dent just at the top, which you can see just there. It's about up to there, the dent. What does this one smell like? Well, it's obviously, as the name would suggest, it's a leather leaning fragrance. So it's very heavy on leather, but it also has some citrus in the fragrance, some petitgrain, rose, raspberry, some cedar in this as well. Again, I just haven't pulled for this fragrance the way that I thought I would when I purchased it. I love Acqua de Parma. I have quite a few of their fragrances. I love the brand, I really do. I think they make some amazing fragrances, really nice fresh citruses and nice bright fragrances. It's a beautiful Italian brand, iconic, it's historic, and I think they're actually now celebrating 100+ years. I just find, however, for me, it's nice in the opening, but as it dries down, it smells too dry. It smells too dry. It's slightly smoky, and I do like smoky, leathery, spicy fragrances, but for me, this one is a little bit too dry. I think for me personally, I do enjoy leathery scents, but perhaps more in the background than in the front and center. So yeah, why would you buy then, Gids, a fragrance that's called leather? Because I liked it at the time. That's my honest answer on that. I thought, oh my goodness, I need this one in my collection. It's amazing. It's the perfect leather scent. And you know, sometimes you have this thing in your head, oh, I'm looking for the perfect sandalwood or the perfect iris or the perfect rose. And I thought this was the perfect leather scent. I didn't quite want to get the Tom Ford ombre leather fragrance. I just wasn't feeling it. So I thought, oh, I like Acqua de Parma, I'll settle for this. And it's actually interesting because this is from the concentrated line, the Acqua de Parma line. They have obviously the fresh line, which is more fresh and bright, and their fragrances aren't too heavy or intense. They're just meant to be light, easy wearing fragrances that you top up throughout the day. This one is quite long lasting, I will give it that. I think this one has actually also been discontinued. So yeah, but I don't think I'll be keeping this one. I think I'm ready to let it go. It doesn't excite me. I don't reach for it. I don't particularly care for the scent profile. And I think Acqua de Parma have better fragrances in their collection. So those are the fragrances I'm thinking of letting go. I might sit with a few of them and give them another try and make a final decision, but that's kind of where my headspace is at the moment. Leave me a comment down below. What do you guys think? What should I do? What should Gids do? Look forward to reading your comments. Give me a thumbs up. Please do subscribe, and thank you for supporting my channel, and I'll see you in my next video very, very soon. Take care, guys.